So, welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Maria. It's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. So, tell us a little bit about you, Maria, and what is emotional musing?
Okay, Emotional Musings I is a blog. It started as a blog that I began in 2018, and it's just evolved from there. It's really my spiritual journey. It's a testimony of my truth. I am somebody who is recovered from many traumatic things in my life, also drugs and alcohol, an eating disorder, sexual abuse, and I've taken the path of a shaman and I channel poetry. So my blog has turned into me sharing my channel's messages
Mhm.
and bits and pieces of my life. And it's a way for my clients to access the services that I provide. So it's really grown in 5 years.
So, you say your blogs. Is your blogs about your journey or is it
It's
just
my journey. It's
okay?
specifically about me.
Mhm.
And it started just from a little nudge from a friend that I met through social media. And she said, "Your writing is so poetic. Do you write poetry?" And I said, "Well, I do." And then I started sharing the poetry. And, to date, I have almost 750 poems. I listen and I take the messages from my spirit guides and I create poetry from them. And I'm currently working on book 10. I've self-published six.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I like to do poetry slams. I haven't done one in probably, oh God, like 2 or 3 years, but they're fun to do, getting up and sharing my poetry. I just did a speaking, I was a featured spoken word artist
Mhm.
for a foundation that supports people who have been through domestic violence. And
Mhm.
that is really near and dear to my heart. And so that was beautiful. And I wrote a poem specifically for that night and shared it. And yeah, that's what I'm here to do.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
Excellent. You're
you.
doing a great
Thank
job.
you.
So, where can the listeners get access to your blog?
Everything I do is emotional musings.
Mhm.
So my website is emotional musings. All of my handles on social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok it's all emotional musings. That's how people can find me. Mhm.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about healing and personal development and spirituality. When you talk about all of that, what exactly are you telling the listeners?
Well, I consider myself a light worker. So somebody who is God centered. I choose to use the word God. I believe in a power greater than myself. And I just use the gifts I came into this world to use. I like to say that God set me with all of my settings on high. And
Mhm,
so I have an ability to connect to the other side.
mhm,
I'm a medium, I'm a channel. And I just, like, my mission is to help heal humanity one heart at a time through poetry
mhm,
and through my healing services. I don't question any of it. I just
mhm.
follow it, and I'm really here to just shine light and let people know that they can heal from anything that they go through in life. It doesn't have to define you. It's meant for you to question more of this journey and to
Mhm.
get to the other side, and then you keep going.
So when did you start writing poetry? When did you start it? Did you start it during your phase of healing, or did you start it after?
I believe that I've always been a writer. That was one of the things that I've aspired to do ever since I was a young child.
Mhm,
And journaling was always really important to me. I think because of the gifts I carry, that was a way for me to connect with myself and just get my thoughts out, right? And so it's just kind of evolved from there. Um, I started sharing, in a professional way, my poetry in 2018.
okay.
And I use an app that I found. It's actually based in India, and I have a lot of followers and friends in India,
Mhm,
which is really awesome. And so I find that poetry is a way for me to connect with
mhm.
people all over the world. It's pretty phenomenal. But yeah, since 2018, my first book I published in 2019.
Wow, that is nice.
Thank
So
you.
with your poetry that you do write, are you focused on is it a broad poetry writing, or is it just you focus on just the emotional and the healing part of it?
I would say the latter. It's a
Mm.
combination of the spiritual journey
Okay.
based on understanding the self, right?
Oh.
So I feel like, the mastery of self
Mm-hmm.
is a huge, huge part of why we're here, right? Learning to
Mm-hmm.
connect with ourselves and then connect with others. So it's self-love. It's, I can share one with you. I have one like sitting here on my
Oh
desk
yeah,
next
I
to
would.
me.
Yeah, the listeners would
Okay.
love to hear it. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So this is one of my most recent ones, and it's based on we are in the year of the dragon. That's what 2024 is.
Mm-hmm.
And we just came out of Pisces season, which is about water, and water is, reminiscent of rebirth,
Mm-hmm.
and just slowing down. So this is called aquatic awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Inner landscape paints a vision of star constellations, gleaming wisdom of the heart, twinkling observations, deeply feeling the watery depths of emotions receding, holding on to hope in moments that seem fleeting. All pieces serve the mastery of self love, no longer in doubt, focused on taking the road less traveled, spiritual route, marrying the shadow of ego to the light of soul, love orchestrated, peaceful stroll, flowing with newly guided inspiration as it divinely arrives, destined for more in this human vessel, soul journey ride. Miraculous inception of universal consciousness perception, following the angels' God given direction, integrated energy of past lives, wisdom's course correcting compass, draining the weight of hollowed numbness. Everything commences all at once, graduating from the haze occupied for months, shaking off the past bruises and bumps, reborn with the water of dragon energy's reflection. This is an aquatic awakening in the midst of redemption.
Wow, I love this. Oh
Thank you.
man, this is so deep. I love
It's
this.
so I love that you said that, Cleon, because
Mm-hmm.
I have two sons,
Mm-hmm.
and they're now young adults. But my oldest son, whenever I share a book with him, he goes, "Mom, your stuff is so deep. It's like hard for me to understand." And I go, "But it's okay. You sit with it."
Mm-hmm.
And as he's gotten older, he's going to be 23.
Mm-hmm.
He understands more and more because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to be his guide.
Mm-hmm.
And he is very gifted himself. He's very empathic. And so, I think even if he can't articulate it, it's like planting a seed. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm a seed planter. I'm an awakener. I am a disruptor, and I feel like people like me, we're not for everybody. Not everybody's ready for depth.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just want to stay on the surface, but
Yeah.
I don't. I like to dive deep and talk about, you know, just deep things, you
Yeah.
know.
I
Yeah.
really like it. It's really, really
Thank you.
nice. And
Thank you.
would it be on your website or where would that
Yes.
go? You
Yes,
just
that's on my website.
okay.
Every so going back over the years,
Mm-hmm.
I have got close to probably 300 posts in
Mm-hmm.
5 years. And so I tend to write a post a month,
Mm-hmm.
and I focus on the poetry that I've channeled in that month. And so it could be six, it could be 10, sometimes it's less. But I'm constantly like sharing what I get in chronological order, and that's how my books go too. My books, when I publish them, um, the poems are all in the order that I've written them. And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of just like really speaks to my journey. When I go back and look, I go, wow, I could see exactly where I was at that point in my life, um, which I feel is really authentic.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that walks the talk. I've learned that through recovery,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I've definitely fallen off the wagon a few times. But now I'm celebrating 3 years of sobriety, which is the longest space in my life that I've been sober. And so I feel like it's brought on a lot more understanding, a lot more clarity, and a lot more groundedness.
Excellent.
It's an
Mm-hmm.
exciting life that I lead, Leanne.
Yeah. So Maria, where can the listeners get all of your books and how can they get in touch with you? Do you have any like speaking engagements, like in terms of do you go to different places and do you recite your poems and stuff like that? Do you have any upcoming events?
Okay, well, I am actually considering doing a retreat that's going to be in Phoenix in the fall, in October, but that's kind of in the works. So I can't be 100% about that right now, but everything I do is on my website. People
Mhm.
can find me on social media under Emotional Musings on my website. There's a list of all my services. I work with people remotely over the
Mhm.
phone all over the world. And
Mhm.
then I have an office in my home. I live in
Mhm.
Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Okay.
And so I am here in Florida. Probably the best way to, in person connect with me is
Mhm.
if you're here in Florida. Um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I think you said the website before, did you? Or did you say
yeah.
that?
Emotional musings.
Okay, okay, good. Okay,
Hmm.
emotional using. Okay. Is that
I
.com?
mean, the thing I'm actually working for right now is my third triathlon. I am a triathlete and I enjoy swimming and biking and running. And
Mhm.
so I'm competing in one in July.
Wow, that is nice. You're doing everything. I love
I'm
that.
kind of doing
Good.
all the things, I said to my partner the other night, I said, I'm living my best life. And I'm really proud of myself
Mhm.
for that. I'm 46 years old. I think the first 40 years of my life
Mhm.
were incredibly difficult, but I never let anything stop me. And that's why I started, running.
Mhm.
I started running well, at first I was running away from myself. I can say that.
Mhm.
But it really helped me. I have a large dance background, so I like to move my body. And
Mhm.
I feel that, running has helped me push through walls. And,
Mhm.
I use that in my spiritual journey. Like it all kind of, it all connects. It's all interconnected. So I
Wow,
express myself in a lot of different ways.
that's good.
And that's how you get what I do. That's how I get my poetry.
That's good. That's good. Continue
Thank
the
you.
good work, Maria, that you're doing. You're touching lives through your poems, and that is excellent. So, do you have any last words for the listeners on the journey of self-love and discovery?
Mm, I would say the best gift you can give yourself is learning and accepting yourself as your best friend because you have to be with yourself your
Yeah.
whole life.
Mhm.
So you might as well learn to love yourself. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And you do that in a lot of different ways. I do that. I have 5 German Shepherds. We own a canine company, and so our dogs look for drugs and facilities. And so I go outside with my dogs and connect with nature. I go to the beach. Whatever's going to quiet the noise in
Hmm.
your mind. And when you can really feel at peace and love, that is your truth. It's not fear, it's love. And so, however you get there is how you get there. But trust that love.
Beautifully, beautifully said, Maria. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
you're welcome. Thank you for being on Beauty of Colors podcast.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Beauty of Colors podcast. We hope you enjoyed the program, and for more information, be sure to visit www.cleanjohnson.com.